When 84% of our student body participating in a referendum last April said, in effect, yes, let's go ahead and build a student union as soon as possible. What did it mean? It meant more than a vote for a swimming pool, or a ballroom, or a bowling alley. It meant more than a protest against the fact that on our whole campus there is no convenient place where a student can meet visitors, play cards, work at his hobby, listen to records, have luncheon meetings, attend banquets, or accommodate guests. It meant more than a protest against the inadequacy of our present facilities for group discussions, recitals, lectures, concerts, films, and exhibits. It meant more than a protest against the fact that none of our present dining halls has an available washroom for men or women, in most states a legal requirement. It meant more than a continuation of a growing and inspiring tradition among Valparaiso student bodies, a tradition of providing campus improvements and facility needs ourselves when the administration is unable to provide them for us, of helping our university to grow and to fulfill its great destiny. Mel Doring, 1952.
So there was a lot of, because of the increasing enrollment and the increasing number of independent students, the independents had already started campaigning to get a student union fee. And they were able to get $3 per student per semester assessed toward a student union. Well, by the time 51, I think that's when we started. Yeah, it was in 51. There was a lot of student agitation to let's get this union going a little quicker than that. And we had a referendum actually. All the students were asked to vote on it, and it passed very heavily to increase the fee from $3 a semester to $15 a semester. Well, that builds up pretty quickly then. The board of directors went along with the idea, and that's basically the funding. The board was still hesitant about financing. They had so many buildings to finance in those days and had a debt to get rid of as well. So they weren't not too anxious to let us get started. The board approved the increase in fees and authorized a committee composed of students and university officials to proceed with the project. The desire for the union was very strong. The first thing we had to do was compose a questionnaire which listed all the kinds of facilities that might be included in a union and get some kind of an idea of what students wanted most, you know, which would be the most popular. Some interesting things there. We ended up with a barber shop, but no beauty shop. The women didn't want a beauty shop, or maybe it just didn't fit into the scheme of things as well as a barber shop did. It also had bowling alleys. We had 4 lanes of bowling alleys. In addition, there was a game room, and of course the dining facilities as well. Well, at any rate, finally on May 28, 1955, the union was dedicated and immediately became the center of campus life. So it was finished in 1955.
Well, occasionally we would have events over there. Of course, your whole round of meetings with organizations, groups, committees, that was often the place where things were scheduled. But also we would have some kinds of special events there. Our Christmas symposium was always held there. Occasionally we would have speakers. Of course, there's just always the informal gatherings that I think the union was ideal for. The old union were just small groups of students, or if you had a campus visitor, you'd often take them over there. Like many people, I think, the word I would always use for the old Union is cozy. It just was a very warm and comfortable place, and I think a lot of faculty and staff and students have sort of warm memories of that. They used to always have down in the cafeteria part there, the coffee just always was brewed and just sat out, and then anybody came along and I think it was, put their quarter down, or then, you would put down a dollar bill and make your own change. And so by the end of the day, there would probably be, I don't know, $40 or $50 in change and bills sitting there, but it was a completely sort of honor system. Well, I think, a lot of folks had felt that the old Union, wonderful as it was, the campus had kind of outgrown it in some ways, and I know, some of the physical structures there were already, having issues. I think the exterior was not terribly attractive by the end here on this side. Maybe it never was, but they had put up that, sort of artificial canopy and some things like that. And then it was probably just more the fact of the age and limitations of the space there. And even the Great Hall, which was kind of the attractive space, which I have many fond memories of, and many people do. It was divided along. There were these pillars, and then you had the West Hall. So sometimes, if you tried to do larger events in there, the folks on the one side couldn't see right, or you were always leaning around pillars, sort of like at the old baseball stadiums or something. So there were just some things like that. I think that the spaces weren't very flexible in some respects.
It was decided before I came here in '99, that the Union was going to be at the top of the list of a building to be replaced. When we first started to look at the project, one of the things that we wanted was to build a building that was welcoming, and what would we need to put in the building to bring people here, keep them here, and then also bring them back here. And in order to build community, we looked at a few things. The bookstore was one, the post office was one, and then dining was one. We knew that people would then have to come to the building at least once, hopefully more than once a day, to eat. It would also mean that we'd have a space that was new and modern, where they could sit and meet. They could meet and have conversation with faculty and staff, other students. It wouldn't just be run in, run out. So we decided to close down all the other dining areas, and we made sure that we put it all here. The old Union was 52,000 square feet. The new Union is 202,000 square feet. This was a $74 million project, and it was all fundraised, and that wasn't $1 of student tuitions dollars used to build the project. So everything we went out and we raised by gracious donors. And as you walk through the building, you see plaques on walls with names on them. Those are the people that donated the money, or helped to donate the money to build the building. We utilized students from the very beginning in the planning process of this building.
Very few students were involved. The board, in fact, I would say President Hari almost designed that building all by himself.
So we wanted to get away from that medieval look. The room names were all based on like the Crusader room and the Squire room and the Round Table and jesters. And so we wanted to get away from that. We wanted to make this building to be more modern. As you'll notice, there's a lot of glass, lets in a lot of light. The other building had a tendency to be kind of dark, where this building is not. There's a lot of natural light that comes into the building. We wanted to make sure that that happened. We felt that also would make people want to come here, stay here. It also makes it, I think, warmer.
I mean, some areas like that, I think that, I don't know what it's called, the fireside lounge area right off the cafeteria of the dining hall is very nice. There are still those little cubby holes and places that you can find that are very, I think, engaging and inviting. So, but plainly, it's just on a scale. When I think about it now, the old Union seems almost, tiny by comparison. I do think it's been astonishing how quickly the new Union is just scheduled to the max, and I think, people thought, oh, well, there's going to be so much space there that, you'll never have any trouble getting rooms or things like that, and that's quite the opposite.
Everybody wants to meet here. They think it's great. I always use it to say, well, when we were in the old Union, we couldn't put you all in the old Union, so you met other places. Well, nowadays, everybody wants to meet here, and they forget that there's other places on campus.
When I came back here in 1970, the food services director was a guy named Ken Harmon, and at that time he was serving meals in 11 different buildings around campus.
So we decided to close down all the other dining areas, and we made sure that we put it all here. I know sometimes people feel it's a little cramped. At lunchtime is when we probably run the biggest crunch because of chapel break and everybody decides to make that lunch break. That's the only time I think for a meal that you really find that it's crunch. And with our dining program being a la carte, it allows you to buy and to take it out. So you can go and eat in any other place in the Union. The cafe is another option, as well as people eat in the game room area. I see them up in lounges, so they go back to offices. So there isn't maybe sometimes enough space right in the main dining area or the cafe, but there's plenty of space in the building for people to eat.
I know I can't afford to eat at the Union. I eat out. I find it's cheaper to go to restaurants in town.
So what do the students think?
I like the Union. It's pretty chill. Nice piano lounge. I come here a lot in the mornings. It's pretty quiet and do homework.
I use it.
I really like the Union. I think the wall of windows and all the natural light that they use is absolutely gorgeous. I really like the wood and the stone. I think it's beautiful.
There's a lot of things I don't like about this Union because it isn't student-oriented.
The cafe is pretty good. Cafeteria needs to get a little more of a variety.
They need a Sunday bar.
It would be nice if they had more fun things to do. Like they used to have a bowling alley somewhere I've heard on campus. They don't have that anymore, which is sad.
I really like sitting over by the piano and people just randomly come up and play, and it's really nice to listen to while we're doing homework.
Oh, sometimes that piano just never stops.
I have absolutely no opinion of the Union.
The student union isn't really a student union because we don't really have control over how we use it.
It's a great place for everyone to, get together and sit around, do homework. What I really don't like about it is kind of the hours of the Union.
I wish they were open longer, like all night, because I'm thinking to myself at like 3 in the morning, I want food.
It doesn't feel like it's ours anymore.
What can I say? I love Valpo. I love the university. I support it to the best of my ability. When I criticize it, I do it out of love for the place.